All right, basses. You don't have anything to sing until page 4. The first 3.5 pages is all Archibald family. The choir will come in on page 4 at measure 37. The choir will sing through measure 53 and then be quiet again while the Archibalds finish up the next couple of pages. The choir will come in at measure 74, which is at the very top of the final page of your sheet music, and then sing through the end of the song. And that's it. I want to point out a couple of things that will be important as you watch this video. At measure 43, the MP3 file that I'm using to provide accompaniment for this song coming off my iPad here has some incorrect notes in it. What can I tell you? There's wrong notes in there. To decrease your level of confusion, I will be killing the volume on the iPad when we get to measure 43 and singing the correct bass notes a cappella. So just follow along with me and ignore the fact that I'm turning down that volume. Another thing that you'll notice if you're paying very close attention to your sheet music is that right after measure 44, right about the time I'm turning the volume back on the iPad, there is a measure that exists only in this MP3 file. It's nowhere in our sheet music. And so I bring it up to mention it to you to avoid confusion. Just ignore that extra measure because it's not anywhere, again, in this sheet music. It's nothing that we're ever going to sing. It's just a couple of odd chords that have been thrown into this MP3 file copy that we're never going to sing. I want to point out a couple of things that should help you find your notes as we come in from quiet parts. Right as we are about to start singing on page 4, Brother Archibald is going to sing, "The Lord has shown me how I," and that is the note that you will come in on the word heaven in verse 37. So key off that note. The Lord has shown me how I. And when you hear him say I, just plug that note into your brain, and when you come in on the word heaven, that's your note. The next thing that I want to point out is in measure 74, when the choir comes in, you're going to sing the last note that the Archibald family sings on the previous page. They're going to sing, "The Lord has shown me how I can." That note is the note that you will come in on in measure 74 in the words "love at home." That'll make more sense here in a moment when we actually go through it. So, without further ado, here we go, basses. What you're hearing right now is the Archibald family stuff. The Lord, this is Brother Archibald singing, has shown me how I, that's your note, I, heaven smiles above, when there's love at home. All the world is filled with love, when there's love at home. Love at home. Love at home. All the world is filled with love, when there's love. So that word love is the last note that you're going to sing in this little portion. It's going to sound like this. When there's love. And you're done. The tenors sing a little bit more, the altos and sopranos sing a little bit more, then Brother Archibald comes in, the rest of his family comes in, but that's the end for you. You sing, "When there's love," come off, and then you don't have anything to do until the end of the song. So we're going to skip ahead here in the accompaniment. How I can. The Archibalds will sing can. That's your note. Remember that note. Love at home. All the world is filled with love when there's love at home. All right, for excellence purposes, let me just revisit because you have some cool little modulation there at the end. You're singing when there's love at home. So just make sure you catch that. It's very subtle. There's a half step drop down. When there's love at home. You guys are dropping down a half step in there. Right after you, the altos drop down a half step. There's some cool stuff going on there right at the end. It is all very subtle, so you have to be very precise in the note you start off at and the note you end up on. So just be cognizant of that as you practice. Thanks, bassist.